And they're also having a bake sale.
Yeah, and that
So-
Sue's gonna do the same thing. If you happen to walk up and want something, fine, but she's just not gonna let a whole crowd of people get in one spot.
Right.
Which is great.
And people can still wear their masks and they can still social distance if they are more comfortable that way.
Yeah, we are not having a guest speaker per se. We're just gonna do the invocation and the dedication. And I need to have anybody that was involved, if they're listening on this, that was involved with anything to do with this monument and Memorial Day, to please be there. And that includes the select board. Okay,
Any questions for Keith?
The barbecue,
yes,
what comes in cartons, what's on it, what's the menu and how much is the cost?
chicken, half a chicken, rolls, butters, pickles, coleslaw,
Chickens,
Yeah,
and
potato
chips,
chips.
potato chips. And it is $10, correct, Richard?
Yeah.
I think it's $10.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that includes water. I don't think it's a milk. Was there something said there was no milk?
There was no milk, it was gonna be water, I think he said a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that benefits,
Benefits Highgate Fire Department.
awesome,
The bake sale.
Bake sale benefits, the monument.
Memorial, yeah.
go,
Memorial Monument.
I'll be there.
Yeah, because we'd still like to put lighting on the monument and we'd still like to
Yeah.
do some landscaping around it, so
Yeah, we're gonna replace some tulips
daffodils,
or daffodils.
remember daffodils. Okay, anyone else have any questions for?
I just wanna give a big thanks to Heidi. I, when we called and asked her to do a couple of things for her, she got right on the ball with Mr. Concrete Man and they rolled, things moved. We were playing phone tag back and forth and it just worked out great.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Patrick.
Happy to help.
Okay,
Actually, one thing related to that is that email I got today, I think about the color chart, we have to pick a concrete color. Otherwise, it's just gonna be plain concrete.
It's just gonna be plain concrete.
I'm looking at the color chart here, I have no idea.
There's a hard
Here's
copy on the
okay.
table.
Yeah.
And I do just want to say, it could end up being just plain gray anyway,
Yep.
so.
Oh,
The only other color on there is the dark, like you have on
Yeah,
the
the dark
plaque.
brown.
That's the
Yeah,
only other color besides the
And we're having a
white
smooth
gray.
finish. So it's gonna be easy to clean and easy to take care of and easy to seal. And when we're done that monument, Richard Smith has taken some of the paving blocks to go. He had a good brainstorm. A handicap ramp coming up to get on it
oh, yeah,
for somebody in a wheelchair or
Yep.
to walk. So they'll be able to go right up on it and he's doing all that now. I thought that was great.
okay.
Cool.
Oh,
Anybody have any preferences of color? I got one. I'm just thinking, most military gray or khaki green kind of thing. Khaki green, yeah. Battleship gray goes on just about everything.
Yeah, I have no preference.
No preference.
As far as I'm concerned, whatever red you want.
Oh, do you have a preference?
I don't because I don't know. I'd have to call him real early in the morning.
No, you don't want to get up there.
I
Gotcha.
don't know anyway, but
Okay.
if I remember it, then do it, but Reggie Smith has started this project and I don't know,
Yeah, he's.
just whatever color,
Okay.
Reggie didn't have a preference color, so I didn't have a preference color.
Oh.
I couldn't talk to Reggie.
Circle the one you
He
like,
had
then,
the,
Yeah, yeah, circle the one you like and
Thank you.
yeah,
We
Rich-
just basically said whatever color he wanted.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm just thinking a little darker gray than normal concrete.
All right, I can tell him that.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, because Richard was the one that was able to get the wings done and donated as well.
But yeah, looks good. Even right now, it looks good.
Okay, all right, moving on. Steve, you're
My
here
turn?
to talk to us, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm here for the village core master plan. Looks like we're looking for, we got opportunity to get some money towards, this project. A couple weeks ago, maybe we've been at, let's see, we got the date here, right? We had a meeting over the Macy property, a nice cool evening. And,
That's cool,
we
yes.
all got along pretty good, rushed it along enough, I guess, but, we had Robert Clark and John, right? Did you get that right?
Yep.
Yeah, John, Kerman, they had give us a slideshow and things of, where we're at. And you have all the paperwork, I don't know if you reviewed any of it or not, for your phases and stuff. But what tonight's about, I guess, is, we got an opportunity to get, a loan, money that you don't have to pay back, forgiving 100% forgiveness. So the figures, do you have the numbers there, at 118? Yeah, the numbers, did you show them that?
Yep,
Yeah,
they all
so
have
they have the
a
numbers,
copy of that.
We call it our step 2 plan, but, anyway, the way it goes, if we got the money, we use it in that for the water and sewer and the development of the installation property as well. We did do some test holes that you're aware of on Lincoln Street, and, those turned out really good, they like what they see there. So, I guess where we're at next, we need to be talking about, the property on how we approach it. And we'll talk about that later. But anyway, we're looking for, we need you to agree for the application to, for that money, that 100% forgiveness money.
So everybody's clear, this is only for the design.
That's it.
It doesn't mean that the town has approved it,
That's
doesn't
right.
mean that
Well, you gotta have something.
any
to
money
prove.
is
Right.
expended on the tax base right now.
Right, and unfortunately, you know, there's that process you gotta go through before you can give it to the public.
Yeah.
And that would, I would make sure, being on the chair of it, that's why I took that upon myself as well, to make sure the public well aware and get their vote for making sure everybody's happy in the town, if and when the process works. It's still, we talk about the building and stuff, what we've done, it's still gonna be quite a project, and it'll be quite a while, it doesn't look like anything's going down. I see, it's nice that we're using the back building to be able to store stuff, and that was nice, don't cost us no rent for stuff like that. And we did a good job of cleaning it up, so it still looks, the appearance wise, when you go by, it's, we're batting 100 on that. It looked really good when you have a parade going by it, and you see the lawns are mowed, and there's a bunch of stuff, around. So it's definitely a plus, but I don't see where this is going to be a next year program or anything. I just see it's, you gotta go through these steps to see if it's possible, and then from there, we would submit that, and obviously do the channel first, and then I'm assuming that hopefully we still have meetings in the spring for the public, and then we'll go from there. So that's really, it's just like a step 2 for it, that shows the money that we could use it on, and that's only if we got it. So there's no guarantee, but first come, first served, and if we don't get moving, we're gonna lose it, and it's no payback. So it's really a no-brainer, in my mind. I feel pretty comfortable with that thought, and anything beyond that, certainly, there's not gonna be anything done that immediate, just to get this going, so they know, give us what we could do.
And so far, you've narrowed it down to 6 different alternatives.
You mean fires, where, what?
Well, yeah, basically where what.
Yeah, well, on the water, wastewater and stuff, kind of got narrowed down really in one location that would work the best. It doesn't mean that, we have access to that yet or anything, that's another situation, but, part of where it would be. And, where we had did the tests and stuff, that really worked out. It would work in our best interest for our town because of the size of it. And now, I don't know if you read in there, it doesn't take much land to do that system anyway. They say it would take under like 2 acres, and there's obviously a little more than that there. And So I don't know how big of an investment that would be. Like I say, we talked about that as well. We haven't, I hadn't spoken with the landowner, only to say and ask if it was, capable of doing the work, to know if it was feasible and stuff. So other than that, that's where I figured we'd talk later on that.
So Steve, now you talked to one landowner, but it looks like it brings in a lot of landowners, the water, where's that coming from? I see, whose plot is that on the gore?
Yeah.
How do you give you the?
Not so much, we also did the evaluation of the rink as well. There was, like you say, there was numerous, and the one on the gore, the only property of water on gore that would be, Heidi, what did they call that?
Sorry. There you go.
There you go.
So it's your two options. One is, phase one, and the back of that is phase two.
Sorry, but, yeah. So, again, we ain't really net any of that down 100%. Because
Okay.
really what we're looking to do is know if the project is feasible to even do for the wastewater system. And the wastewater system is different than the village core master plan here, because really without that, the money that's going on with that now isn't just about that. It's about money that they're trying to enhance the towns and stuff to, if you, without one, it would give you initiative to someday in future grow. And if you look on Lincoln Street, you look at the properties up to there that are coming in like crazy, and that type of thing. So I'm not really saying too much about the water part of it, as I would be knowing where, if it was all feasible to even actually get it started to do it. I mean, we got a long ways to go and some other.
So I guess my question is, why way up the gore out in the middle of a field?
Because there was water out there, it's already been done.
So where are you up there?
It'd be just out of the village, we're talking on the right, Dick's old.
Oh, okay.
Drilled the well.
Okay, right across the road
It
from me
doesn't mean
then.
that we could use that.
It doesn't look like that when I look at it here.
It just means that it's possible.
Okay,
You
yeah,
know, and that's what we're looking for, is a possibility, like every water system eventually, if you're gonna have water and sewer, you should be working that in the thought as well. You wouldn't do one without the other, somewhat.
right.
But when they did the studies and stuff, they include that, which is their job. That's where we're paying the money to have them do the, where we could go with it. And this money came up. That's really, tonight was about, there's money they're giving the towns, and the first come, first served. So if you don't take the money and you don't get it soon enough, you don't get in for it, then
So
that's gonna go away, and it'll be a while before.
the way I understand it is, Steve, is that it's going to, we're gonna get the money, and if this flops, there's no paying it back, if
It's zero payback.
okay,
They're giving it to the towns to enhance their towns. There's a lot of little towns out there that would gladly jump on money as free.
yeah,
Now, I don't believe in any free money, meaning coming out of your taxes somewhere someday, but already has. But they're allowing this money for towns to enhance everything for bettering your town. So, when I started with this, we started with just the Macy property. And then we kind of combined it with something that could someday make your town grow. Your town's never gonna grow too much, too fast. I don't know, maybe you don't care about it growing too fast, I don't know, but someday there's gonna be something in the future you're gonna need to do. You're not always gonna be around, such as myself,
all right.
But, so what I'm looking for really, just so so, we've done the studies and then this money came up. So the deal with money is, that you're not gonna get it. No guarantee you're gonna get it, but hurry on it and prove it where we can get it. There's no payback. And believe me, don't hurry. I mean, that's the time limit on,
It would be a time limit
and what
to
is that?
finish- To complete that study.
That study. I'm just saying, that study, they would allow us, I mean, the money, if we used it within the next year or year and a half, whatever, we can get help.
Complete the design.
Right, so that's the way I understood it as well. You know, there's a lot of stuff in between, so. Yeah.
So, how long would it take to complete the design roughly?
Probably a year.
Yeah,
Okay.
most things take.
They're gonna look at other water sources too. They're gonna look at this water source.
Yeah.
Or, what was the other one? The McEwen wells,
Yeah,
to
the
see if
McEwen.
any of those
Well, any of them
wells
was,
could be
yeah,
viable.
but there's no definite on any of that. It's just saying that there's possibilities to these spots. That's all that is.
Right.
You know, but I mean, with what we will be doing here could get us established enough to say that we're starting something. It could take 10 years, you know, it could take 20 years. I'm not gonna tell you that. You know, again, maybe we won't see it, but somebody on the road will, but it'll make your town a lot better, you know. Definitely, there's a lot of issues in the town that could be worked out with stuff like this going on. That's all.
So with this loan money, are you proposing a land acquisition?
Don't quite follow that.
The funding that you're applying for would include land acquisition, so land
It-
option.
Yeah. I don't know if it come out of that though.
It's one of the line
It
items
is, okay. Well, I guess I missed that.
in step 2,
Yeah,
because there's no sense in going forward if you
So,
don't have.
you wanna explain what you just?
yeah, I guess it was in there.
So
Yeah,
in the loan they want you to sign for, they're proposing to buy $25,000 worth of land right here.
right.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
who's proposing the?
Well, we're just putting it in there
For
for
this,
knowing that you, that'd be the money that you're getting through this zero payback.
Okay,
So it's not like it's coming out of the taxpayers. It'd be coming out of that.
so,
Shelley online.
She is not.
Know what I mean?
so you're talking about the land over in the sand?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Which we tested and stuff.
Mike,
We just know that works. We haven't negotiated or talked, obviously, you got a step to go through before. We wouldn't even be talking tonight if that didn't come up, and if it falls through, then it'll be,
You know, I'm just concerned about
Yeah.
making its way over on
No, I know
Lincoln
that.
Street. You
Yeah.
know, there's a lot of people,
I didn't,
it's gonna have to go on their land
Yeah.
and, you know, that's.
I just, in my mind, it might be a little different in that end of it. I didn't know if that, in the way I think, a little different, but I don't know if I agreed with that as well. I didn't know if there was some way, because we talked about the tracks and stuff, some kind of deal, not being able to always go under those tracks. And, so I didn't know on that, when you're getting on that side of tracks,
Well,
some other things.
I guess my question would be a legal one as to that line item of land acquisition, because
Okay,
that's over $5,000. And I would think that needs a legal vote by the town.
okay.
You
We have a lawyer for our
To
town.
extend it.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you put it under loan, you can't, I would think you would have to have a mandatory.
I use it, I'm
Why-
under loan.
I would think.
Why are they calling this a loan?
Yeah, that's what.
It's a grant,
It is funny, it's typically a loan
But-
program, it's the Clean Water State revolving loan. But they, right now, are doing those loans with 100% forgiveness, so it's basically the same as a grant. But it is a loan.
Yeah, see, and that's where I would look at it myself, but I mean, as far as the way they word it, I don't always agree with the way some of this stuff is worded, but, I mean, they're smarter than I am, so. You know, they put things in, there's a reason, I probably don't understand that, all of that.
I think Steve would like to go into executive with you to talk about how to proceed in planning
Yeah, that's part
negotiation.
of it.
But the town would need to do like an option, not a purchase. Just so that if you ever did move forward, the land wouldn't be gone.
Cause it's really the hot spot of the area, and we done the other sites and they don't make no sense at all, and there would be a conflict going through town, our town land we own. We met that straight on, which wasn't good. So with what we have done in the research, that spot is a recovery spot, as you guys know, and it's something that would be an option, and I know that it would be, I'm pretty sure he would do something with us, but like I said, I don't wanna over talk on that without talking on executive. So that's pretty much it. Realistically, I see where you're going, Sharon, with that, because I mean, I as far as the legal technicality, but we do have lawyers that could adjust that for the town and see what they would say if maybe these guys would have to change the wording of it. I don't know. That's possible, you know. I try to make it as simple as possible, but sometimes it's not quite.
Well, I was only thinking, you know, we had a town vote to sell property. And we had a town vote to buy
Yeah.
the P.E.G property.
Right.
Seems only right that we would have to have a town vote for
To buy that
another
property.
acquisition, yes.
Now, if we're putting, I still feel we're putting the cart in front of the horse until we know we actually get the money. So
Right.
if we got the money, nothing saying we'd even have to move on that until town meeting and put that on the agenda for a vote, and then that, you know, we're gonna be a long walk further from here from then, I can guarantee that. But I'm saying as long as we're not doing anything and actually doing it, and we can lock something down for later, that would be the smart thing to do. I don't think you should let something that would work so good for the town go by, that's all.
But I could also see land acquisition as being a line item for an option, like Heidi mentioned, or
Right.
for legal fees for negotiation and stuff like that. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, when it came to actually expending monies to purchase.
But I see her point, because
Then, well,
it is the town that when they come in and ask why you done something ahead,
well, we
we
can't
hear that
spend,
every day.
we can't spend more than $5,000 without people voting on it.
Well, I rolled into town after Sugar in the spring, and I see there was a beautiful door on the Macy land, and I got calls right off on it. That was money and this and that, and I said, listen, I just got here, I see it, looks nice, don't it? I said, but I didn't have a clue either, so I said, I don't, but again, people notice, which is good, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? But anyway, that's, so I don't know if we're missing out anything beyond that. Is there anything you want
I
to?
think that's
But
it.
yeah,
There's the
it's pretty-
request.
pretty simple, the money part is the simple part. If they was to allow it, we don't owe them nothing back. And it would work toward the program, and if it was to do with the land, we could call it, put it on the agenda for the spring. Cause I know we're not gonna be moving before that time flies, and spring is, fortunately, summer's here, but spring's around the corner every year, it comes fast. Okay? So, when we get some time after for executive, Sharon, okay?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, that's good with me then. Great.
So if you're in favor of proceeding with the loan with 100% forgiveness, you need to make a resolution, a motion, and then sign the form.
So on the actual application, there is no exact wording that says anything about land acquisition anyway, correct?
Well, there is a budget attached to it
Okay, yeah,
on the back.
yep,
So, and I highlighted in the overall project budget, the sheet that you had. For step 2, final design is $75,600. Administrative is $8,850. Legal is $8,850, and land acquisition is just estimated at $25,000. They're all just estimates in those lower columns. for a total of $118,000. If this is completed and there's still funding available, then the town could go to step 3, which would be engineering services, which would be your bid documents and construction inspection, and as well as construction. So those are marked step 3, the 2 line items, 695,000 and 120,000. Those are not what you're deciding tonight. What you're deciding tonight is, do you want to take advantage of this opportunity to get to that point? And this project would be necessary if the town ever intends to locate the library on the property, which is what you've gotten a few town meeting allocations for, I think 3 at this time, towards a new library. So this would be the first step towards the new library and the development of the property. The amount of water that they could do would support the uses on that lot. And then phase 2 for 65,000 is something the town could decide 10, 15 years down the road that they want to expand. And then you would be able to hook up any houses that had problems or businesses if that was something that the town grew into. So the option would buy or would lock down enough land that you would have the opportunity, the next generation could do something.
And the only thing you had when, tell them how much the money is that we could get, that we could actually get our town.
Sorry, what do
You have
you,
the full amount of that they only allow towns so much. How much money is that? 100 and what?
I think it's $112,000. I'll have to double check that is the maximum
Well,
amount.
it's somewhere in there. But I mean, these figures here, I don't know if they're all etched in anything, you know what I mean? We're just giving you an idea, what we would need to get. And, some of that could be altered, I'm sure, a little bit. The downside, in other words.
So I would move to approve the application as presented.
Do you have a second?
Shouldn't we wait and talk to Steve in executive session? It wasn't, right now? I don't know, what do you got
vote on that after, in an executive session?
after executive
After
session?
executive,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I got the whatever, we're just bringing forward that there's an opportunity. I'm not rushing you.
So, is there anything you're going to say in executive that would affect this loan application?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so then,
Absolutely not.
That's
So
kind
you're,
of-
yeah, I was gonna tell you that. There's nothing to do with this, to do with what we'd like to talk about in this session. Again, you're only voting on something if we get, it doesn't cost us nothing. Okay, so you're not voting on, we're gonna pay anything back. So, and you must know me, I'm pretty frugal. And I wouldn't really be sitting here, I had the idea when we were talking to the Otter Creek, when they said, hey, there's money out here, and you got perfect opportunity, and it won't cost you no payment. So I was first to say, and I asked again, nothing, no obligation whatsoever, and, no. So, I mean, that is a good thing for the county, and even if it's 2 years from now, I don't think, as long as you're using it for it, I don't think you're gonna lose anything, and you don't have to give it anything back, that's the way I understood it.
Second.
So I'm just saying, I'm not looking for, I wouldn't do anything to hurt Ken. I don't want my taxes going either, so believe me.
When do you hear that?
Wendy, did you hear the second?
No, I said Bruce moved and then you were gonna talk about it later and now you're not, so you lost me.
Okay, so Richard has seconded. I have discussion, I do have a large problem with the idea of land acquisition being in that application. If you wanted to change the wording to land.
Yeah.
Land
I was
rights,
gonna suggest the same.
or
Yeah.
right to purchase, or, but land acquisition. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that, I think that leads us to too many loopholes to
Sure.
get squashed up in.
Can we, Heidi, can that be tossed in that now and voted on that and then just have them reroute that? I mean, I get where they're coming from, because you know, everything loophole today. And if there's a
Suspect
situation,
so.
we don't wanna get into any of that. Because we're no guarantee yet, even on
Right.
purchasing.
Right, but if you put that in your grant form.
Yeah.
I wanna make sure that we're not,
Get lost.
obligated into something that
Sure.
the town wouldn't approve.
I would think legal matters related to something or other.
Well, there's a legal line there for the cost of managing it, but that is just, it's just a ballpark number. It's up to the town to negotiate that deal. If they so choose.
Other legal considerations.
That's open with,
And you could put land considerations,
yeah, that would
just
just,
not acquisitions.
right,
Thank you.
I like that thought. Yeah, well,
So
We
that
go-
way, if it's a,
we're actually going by, you know, the Otter Creek engineering, like putting that in. And they know the water concerns as well, so
So I'm happy with
this is time to change. I'm probably 100% sure they're.
I'm not sure if that is part of the form that he filled out or if he made that himself, so I will check. If he's unable, like if there are just categories that he can select, if he's unable to change that, what would you like to do?
if he can't change that, I would put a stop to it until we heard from our lawyers. Would be my suggestion, but the board.
I'll agree with you on that.
I agree with you on that.
So you're in effect amending the motion,
Right.
and I guess just
So
what would the.
let's vote on our first motion to accept. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No. So I want the amendment.
We can amend it. We can rescind the vote, and then amend it, and then vote.
So are you rescinding or amending or going forward?
I don't know, who's the parliamentarian for real? I got no problem changing the wording. I can, I can see where monies would possibly be needed for negotiating and securing those negotiations before actually purchasing. So
So the three of you, are you willing to amend the motion to have it land considerations if possible? And if it's not possible, to consult our lawyers for the town prior to this going for submission?
I would second that.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were voting on the first time.
Okay,
So, yes.
So do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Wendy, did you understand any of that?
Yes.
Okay, so all those in favor of signing the state revolving loan program with 100% forgiveness for the village core request with the caveat of land considerations. If that is not possible, then to consult our lawyers prior to submission. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Okay. Well, actually. Yeah, it's just me, okay. All right, so we'll put that one to the side. All right. Steve, anything else on the village core for regular session?
Sorry?
Anything for village core
All
for
good.
regular, okay. All right,
All good.
Wendy, do you have, are you playing Shelley?
Did she leave the check warrants for you guys?
She did.
Okay, I think that was all she had.
She also left us a new budget, if anybody wants to see that in print. So, has everyone had a chance to look at the check warrant?
Yep.
Okay. Do I have a motion to sign?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Whoops, I gave you the wrong one. I gave you the sign one. So you can start signing on that end.
Yeah. Budget.
Here's the budget. Okay, while we're signing, Wendy, what do you have for us?
I'll be quick. Minutes from May 6th, please.
Okay, has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from May 6th?
Yes.
I have a motion to sign. Okay, Richard makes a
Second.
motion. Bruce seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the only other thing I have is I sent it to you earlier this week, my yearly request for you to approve me to sign catering requests for the wedding season on behalf of the town prior to sending them on to liquor control at the state.
Okay, was everyone able to hear?
Yep.
Okay. Do we have a motion to allow Wendy Dusenblom, the town clerk, to sign the catering requests?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's it for me.
Okay. Heidi,
Let's start right off with those bids in front of you.
all right.
The FEMA project at the transfer station required us to get an environmental review to be compliant with use of federal funds. So these proposals are to look at the site and note any concerns for the state historic preservation office.
So for us, this is the next step in the FEMA grant process.
When this and the other assessment that I have in front of you are completed, we will be able to access construction funds. Or so we have been promised.
You don't mean to say the transfer station project is gonna get ahead of the Nature Road project.
We shall see.
Okay. cost of this one is in the middle of their lovely book here for the technical proposal. This is VHB. And they are from South Burlington.
Oh, so here's Richard.
So they are putting in a bid of $9,511.32 as grand total of labor costs estimate, which includes project initiation and scoping, alternative developments, affected environment and environmental consequences, P.E.G revision and public comment, consultation and coordination, references and appendices. So that's $9,511.32.
This is their proposal.
Well, a lot of this is their staff, other projects they've done. Their actual proposal is 1 page.
Okay, SWCA Environmental Consultants of Amherst, Massachusetts. Proposal, there's a lot of text in here about what they would do, but their summary says, task 1, sub-applicant meeting and initial site visit. Task 2, preparation of the environmental assessment. 2A, agency coordination. 2C, public notices. 2D, preparation of the final environmental assessment and finding of no significant impact, for the total cost of $27,820.
Say that again, please.
$27,820.
Huge difference.
Mhm.
Look through this one and see if they match. Okay, Richard, what do you got?
Stone Environmental
Mhm.
and the scope for, here. Scope work, finding specific impact, public notice. Food service. Table proposed budget. Task 1 project, team meeting and project. Coordination, $1,773. Task 2. EA funds and public notices. $5,822 with a grand total of $7,399. Oh, no, I gave you the wrong one. $7,595.
Okay. Vern?
I've got the bid here from the Clark Group LLC. Very nice packet. Still trying to figure out where they're from. Can't find a return address anywhere yet. Scope of work includes, it says scoping and initial data gathering, public engagement, 8-step decision-making process, which is explained over a couple of pages, and environmental assessment development. For the bid itself, a whole bunch of numbers all add up to a total cost of $27,591 for the Clark Group.
So look at, Richards versus yours and see if you can find why the major difference.
Okay,
And Bruce is doing
There-
that with
you can
these
find
two.
the address.
There doesn't seem to be
Any difference?
anything comparable.
Oh, nothing comparable.
Not the way they've done their summaries. Project initiation, okay, alternatives development. Revision. Wow.
I'll put your mom.
I'll put it. Okay,
Good.
got it, yeah, okay. I see the bid part on that one again. It's like halfway through the package.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
wait, yeah, I want- some numbers. Maybe on that side.
Well, I can tell you that this company here, SWCA from Amherst, says that they assume they'll have one day at the site, which is pretty good money for 27 grand.
Not too shabby. Well, Stone is a local company and they seem to be a low bid, so I would like to run them by Stephanie at the state before we make a final decision, but looks like your low bid is very qualified.
Yeah, this SWCA is not offering any more. In fact, they're offering less benefits than at least the VHB bid, which is much, much lower. Like $17,000 lower.
But the other one was still $27,000 as well.
Right,
So
and that one was from Amherst, or, we didn't know where that one was from.
Montpelier.
Montpelier.
Up there.
turned out Montpelier.
Oh, that,
Clark Company is from
Yeah.
up there, yeah.
so do we have a consensus?
These two here, just comparing apples to apples, I can't. Clark Company's got it broken down probably into about 20 different steps, whereas one that Richard quoted here.
Stone Environmental.
Stone Environmental's only got two steps.
What are the two tasks?
Project team meeting and project coordination is one, and EA, FONC, and public notice is number two, for $75.95. And then Clark breaks it down into a whole page here of task for $27,591.
So take a look at this one and see what you think of that one versus, that one's 9511.
This one here seems to be from VHB, almost all the same task as the Clark Company. Here, I'll have it to you guys, but these two look like apples to apples. This one here, though, it's not broken down enough to, this quote here to compare this to that.
Does that make you uncomfortable?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay,
I feel like
so
I can't
would you
compare
be
them.
more willing to go with the 9,500 one that I just showed you?
It's more itemized, yes.
Have you ever had any contact with VHB?
We've worked with VHB before. We've also worked with Stone. They're highly credible. I think that they just do these a lot. We did have a $10,000 amendment to our FEMA grant to pay for this. So with this and with the archaeological assessment, we would be just right about at our budget if we go with the lower bid. So they all had the same information to bid from. And they all had to be on the state's approved list.
All right, so as I look through this one, this is Stone. I see a lot of the same wording as I saw with, I think it was VHB.
Okay,
Different format.
okay,
Got to speak for a little bit, but it's all in here.
okay. So then are we willing to accept the bid of $7,595 for Stone Engineering? Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, Bruce, are you still thinking?
No, I'm
Okay,
kind of
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Would you be able to put those all in one envelope or
Yeah.
just stick them together for me? So I can have them? Please. Okay, there is another contract for the same project, the transfer station. In addition to getting the environmental review, we needed, Highgate has sensitive soils, so we had to go to the second step on an archaeological resource assessment. So that was a smaller project, didn't require the full RFP process, only required me to reach out to firms. So I did reach out to 6 firms and we ended up with 2 bids. One was Hartgen at $3,000 and the other was Crown Consulting for $1,958. So I put the contract for Crown Consulting in your packet. I would
Anyone want to
ask
see
that
it?
you approve that.
Heidi, who was the first one from again? and What was the amount?
Hartgen, Hartgen, $3,000.
Looks appropriate.
construction thing is also for the archaeological assessment.
Yep, that is the archaeological assessment for the transfer
Well.
station.
Big fingers.
All right.
Thank you. Can't thread needles well either.
Me neither.
Okay.
Okay, so do I have a motion to accept that bid?
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
I,
Aye.
One more contract for your paving, Pike Industries. You opened the bids at the last meeting.
Yep.
They have an agreement for us. We've removed the Macy Road because we don't have the grant yet. We don't know when we would get a contract if we are awarded. So he has taken that out. And as of today, Butch is thinking that he would maybe not pave the last section of Lampkin Street around the sidewalk until he could figure out the drainage issue. So he's not sure. They might be able to get it done, but so perhaps you could approve this pending reduction in Lampkin Street around the sidewalk.
Okay, so just a side note, I've been questioned by a couple of people, why didn't we take the lowest bid? So when we compared the tonnage, it was not equal. You were getting less asphalt for the lower price. And the other two bids were approximately the same amount of money. And Pike Industries has a good working relationship with our highway department, and we took the advice of our highway foreman. So people know we did not do that willy-nilly, but actually did compare the tonnages. So do I have a motion to sign the Pike Industries contract, knowing that we may reduce the amount based on what we do with Lampkin Street?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And we have an appointment request for an alternate.
Well, it is also a resolution form that was not signed at the time that you appointed Randy.
Okay,
So they brought it to my attention.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we did have interest from Yeshua Bistina, who was the principal at the elementary school, who was formerly an IT teacher, that he would like to get more involved in that. He
Great.
doesn't feel like he can attend all the meetings, but he could serve as an alternate and just stay informed. So if you approve of that, appoint him and make the resolution for both.
okay. So do we have a motion to sign with our representative as Randy Connolly and Yeshua Bistina as an alternative?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Scott, are you in a hurry to get off? Do you want to see if we can move you up the discussion ladder?
I go to bed at 8 o'clock, guys.
Sorry?
I said I go to bed at 8 o'clock.
Oh,
Okay.
would the board mind if we pushed the school drainage issue up on the list so Scott could go to bed?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
So in the extra papers that I put on the table, things came up since I sent you the information packet. So Scott approached the town to see if we had any knowledge on some of the older infrastructure that's in the ground. And we had a meeting with Richard and Butch and Nick and Luke. And they have a plan. I don't know if you want to take over now, Richard?
The plan that we came up with was that there's a yellow line that runs through, it runs right underneath the school, the newest part of the school. But it starts over at on R.J. Fournier's property. Because I guess at one time there was a sawmill there and feed company and a mill or whatever. And so he's having drainage come through underneath and it's going in the school and it's rising the school when it freezes the floor. And he wanted to know if the town would be willing to dig by RJ's and see where if we run some water down it, if we use the fire truck or to see if it's coming out there. And it's coming out in the ball field, but it's going underneath the school. Okay, are you with me, Sharon?
Which way,
Well, I'm trying to think about this here.
which way's the water running?
Down from the,
So
that there is RJ's and our properties here of the recreation.
Yep.
And it's running down, it's going in the ball field, but they think that it might be, there's some old pipe in there that it could be running over onto the land that that the school gave us from Jake Nato across there and out into 70, it could be running into 78, we're not sure.
Frog pond, remember they had an issue underneath.
Yeah, no, that's the other way, Steve.
Yeah.
That goes out on St. Armand Road. This goes down through the ball field.
Okay.
And there's two gates there at the end of the ball field.
Yeah.
That it brings it over to the Macy property and that land from NATO's and.
Yes.
And so they think that they'd like to see what's happening there. And either,
So through the playground,
yes, it's coming out on the playground. And Scott said there's another line coming in where they opened up, there's a manhole there. There's another line coming, but we don't know where that's coming from. If it's coming from on School Street and into the playground, if it's going, this way, and there's another hole there.
and the water is raising the school in the winter.
Yes,
In the
it's
brick
freezing.
building.
Yeah, not the white building.
Right.
I call it the 89 building.
Yeah.
It's a new part of the school. So, and they want to know. Scott wanted to know if the town would be willing to help him dig that out, and if we have to, see if we could get a fire truck to run water down there to see where it's going or and what's happening. So that's
So there's basically a wetland right
Yeah.
before the parking lot.
yes, and apparently he's getting sinkholes out in the playground.
So they're thinking it's coming underneath the rail trail
Yeah,
from RJ's, underneath the school, out through the playground.
Yeah.
And out to NATO's old
Yeah.
property.
he would just like to find out where it's going and where it's coming from. So then if it could be he wants to make sure it isn't none of their new project that they did. And once he finds out, then he go back to his engineer. So,
And they're digging on the school side of the rail trail or the,
no, it'd be in our corner, we're in there and RJ's in there. So it'd be right there, and I know Scott, I got an email today that Scott said that he got permission from RJ to, for the town to open it up. Did I miss anything, Scott?
No, what I'd like to just share with you as well is what's happened is that it's a 10-inch wide pipeline. And it's bell housed together in about every 4-foot section. And those joints that come together, what's happened is it's corroded. And now as either water's coming through it, it is coming out of where those joints are together, causing the earth to erode. And this is the third sinkhole I have on the playground. Now, my records show that starts over, and we're not sure exactly where that is. It's either we're on the arena or if it's in RJ's. We want to see if we can locate where that starts and then do the flush, as Richard said. And then from there, if we determine it's coming through there, I can seal it off from that end and from the end that goes to the playground. And then I can fill it in for where those bell house together, just so I don't have any more sinkholes. I'm just looking for some support from the town, because in essence, what could happen is I could keep patching holes all the way out until it goes beyond my fence at the school, and then say, it's not mine to deal with anymore because it's outside. But it could keep happening all the way down to where it meets where Steinhauer's was. And I don't want to do that. I want to work with the town to see if we can both come up with a solution so that, I can take care of the playground for the adolescents, as well as making sure that we've stopped it from going any further. Does that's kind of what I'm looking for some support for.
and the backhoe would be sufficient to do the digging that's needed?
Absolutely. And every other expense as far as plugging everything and doing that would be on the school's expense. Just the support. And also it's basically getting knowledge too, that's there, it's in the ground, and we kind of are everybody's kind of looking at each other, not really sure. So, I have reached out to Steve Plouffe. He shared his thoughts with me that could have tied into the Zamboni room at one time. Not really sure, but he said that could have, Scott. So I'm still gathering information, but the biggest thing I do know is outside where the playground is, there is a distribution box. 2 lines come in, 1 goes out. And that line that it shows on your plans that you have goes right underneath the school. And before I came back to the school, they had one winter where the water had frozen in that pipe, and they said it heaved the floor. And in the springtime, they had a huge gush of water that came out of the front of the school. So I haven't seen that. I'm going by Randy Pudva, who had shared that with me and said that he saw that. So, I'm trying to put these pieces together, guys, to be able to do a little detective work to make sure that we're doing the right thing. But it all kind of adds up as far as that pipe under the school. The question that I have is, where does it start? Where does it completely end? And by maybe flushing some water through it, if we find it on RJ's or the arena side, it's going to tell me if it goes into that distribution box, and it's going to tell me if it goes out across the ball field, and we can stop it there and prevent it from anything in the future.
And we've got written permission from Fournier?
I did. I called RJ and spoke with him. He said, absolutely. He said, go for it.
Is that good enough?
At
If
the
the-
very least, you and Butch should speak to him, because if they block off that end and it is on RJ's, what's it gonna do to his field? If there's that much water coming through there and we block it off and it causes a wet hole in his field, he's not gonna be happy.
Yeah, what he did share with me,
Huh?
he did,
On it.
Yes,
Used to be,
yeah, you're right.
Sharon
yeah,
and board, he did share with me that he has drainage culvert there. And he said, if you want to tie into it, Scott, go ahead and do it. And I said, no, RJ, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to stop it coming from the other direction. So he has some tile that's in that area. But I think it would be probably in the board's best interest for us to be able to at least get something in writing stating that he's okay with that. And I'm willing to prepare something like that and work with Heidi to prepare something like that so that we can at least move forward and have all the ducks in a row and have everybody on the same page. So there's no surprises. There's no unseen.
Yeah,
Right, because
on
his
it.
tile could be hooked into your pipe and
Yeah.
feeding your sinkholes.
yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And if that's the case,
So, but
But
I'm also sitting here thinking, does this go further north across the arena property?
No, the plans that I show at one time, it showed there was a manhole over in that corner by the arena RJ's. And then there's a manhole that is still existing in front of the school after the 89 edition was put in. So
The arena parking lot, the school parking lot, school building, school playground are all some pretty valuable pieces of real estate. If we got a pipeline that's causing problems. I'm good with Public Works helping them.
would Butch think?
He seemed to be real, he didn't have no problem with it. He asked Scott, he said that we should check with RJ, and Scott did, and they seemed pretty upbeat and would help, so.
Yeah, Scott, if you wouldn't mind, yeah, it'd be nice to have RJ sign something just in case it doesn't turn out to be very beneficial to him.
okay, so what I'll do, Heidi, is can I coordinate that with you, Heidi, to put a document together along those lines?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And I think it would be in the best interest too for me to do a follow-up with the board and what we find. And I am going to enter into town records this pipeline that exists that we really don't have as a town any record of it being there. So that way it'll, in the future, at least we'll know it's there.
Yes, that would be great, Scott.
Okay. Thank you guys very much for bringing this up, and I appreciate the time and effort.
So can we have an official vote? That way I have a motion.
I move to approve allowing Public Works Department to assist with
Drainage.
determining the drainage problem and pipe location and Scott, don't know his last name, I'm sorry. Martin, thank you. Obtaining some written permission from RJ Fournier to excavate on Fournier's property with regard to this issue
Okay. Do I have a
and
second?
whatever
I'll
else.
second it.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you very much. Have a great evening, people.
You
Thank-
Good night.
too.
So
5
maybe we
minutes to
can,
spare.
maybe we can continue on the drainage topic and talk about Lampkin Street briefly. Similar story. You know about the drainage issues and Butch and I don't know if you were there, Rich?
I wasn't.
No, Butch and Nick and I met with a couple folks from the state and they discussed what their options were as far as still maintaining separation from the road. And it sounded like the cheapest, easiest thing to do was to just lay some drainage in there and then return it to grass. Butch wanted some help with elevations and making a plan. And so we went to Tyler Billingsley and I put his pricing on the table for you. We have an appointment to talk with him Monday morning because I think that we may be able to do less if the crew does the work. We don't need to put it out to bid. We don't need to pay, So we're gonna see if we can bring that down a little, but Butch had talked with Shelley, and I think that they're thinking it should maybe be bumped until we've got some money to pay for this.
Right.
So, I don't know going forward what we'll do, but we can talk with him on Monday,
So what time is that meeting, Hayden?
10 o'clock.
So just my perception of this situation is an engineer was paid to design it. GW Tetro put it in according to the design. And it doesn't drain, and now we're having to fix it.
Yes, but we signed off on it.
Yeah.
As completed,
Right, okay.
so you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
It looked good when it was dry.
exactly, exactly. One of those, poop happens.
Okay, well,
No, I agree 100%. It just, when those are signed off on it, it's not a lot we can do about it.
no, you're quite correct, and I understand, and we'll just have to,
I guess we can see what they say on Monday and see what Butch thinks that they can do themselves, and
well,
whether we have
let's,
to wait for July 1st or for more money to come into the budget, or
I would like to think in terms of doing what's necessary to fix it.
yeah.
So
But
it's
I think the biggest thing always,
over and done with it.
yeah, right, but I think we're gonna have to go back a little ways, more farther than it is, because you talking about by, where Bob Graham's and the church, and it's always been flooded there too. I think it all ends up into one big pond, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, figure out how to get it,
Yeah, maybe to put a
go,
little,
make it go away.
Yeah.
It's my 2 cents worth.
That could tie into the system down that way too. And eventually there's, a lot more that could be done into that zone.
Yeah.
Because of it. I mean, that would be a good solution too. Saying the immediate, but how immediate are you gonna do on that one, on that water? Probably gonna have.
well, the boys can do it themselves, and we have money July 1st. I mean, theoretically, they could, at least start doing a fix and getting that so it's not a pond.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so I wanted to just put in front of you the email from the engineer for the airport infrastructure project. He just said that he was wondering if we wanted to push the vote out into September, just to give time for people to return from summer traveling for your information session. We hadn't really planned that in. I talked to Wendy and Shelley about it, and they were feeling like it's 6 one way, half a dozen to them. So Wayne's thought is if it's in September, people have had a chance to settle in, and they might be willing to think about town issues rather than during the summer. So
But we'd have to have a positive vote by September.
31st.
Yeah.
31st. How come you keep saying that?
Sorry?
How come you keep saying September 31st?
Why shouldn't I keep saying it?
Well, I thought there's
no
only
such
30
thing.
days.
Oh, is it 30? I don't know.
You said that last time too, I got what?
I never memorized that poem.
Oh,
So,
Well, you have to have a 30-day warning.
Yep.
So that means if it don't pass, or if it does not pass, that's it. You lose that funding.
Informational meeting, people, come getting settled on vacation or whatever, you're gonna get the same amount of people. Informational meeting, if they come back from vacation, or if you don't, we're still gonna get 6 people, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
You know, so. And that's, there's a lot of people really interested in this, and we've had big things before, and you only get a handful of people.
It's just like a school budget though, where you can keep putting it out to vote.
Well, no, because of the
The
deadline
deadline
on,
for the funding, okay.
If you did a vote in June, you could do another vote before September. But if you go to the fall, then that's it, one and done.
It's kind of late now in June, for June, ain't it?
Well, it could happen. It would be very short for opportunities to get information out.
I just think June, I know the engineers and all of this stuff said that June would be the time, but I look at June as there's a lot happening in this area. Graduations are big, and, you know,
Agreed.
a lot of crops being put in, and I don't know. I always thought June was a bad time, but
what about the 1st of August?
I don't think that would be.
First week of August.
Yeah.
Harvest hasn't started yet.
Right.
Um,
You know, just that they're getting back into school. I think that'd be, I don't know.
that way, if you judged by what vote you had, and you felt you could get more information out there to get a positive vote, you'd have that opportunity to have a positive vote. Because unfortunately, yes, we don't have a large participation in these informational meetings or these gatherings, but
I think having a vote, like you were saying, at least having 2 votes would be the way to go. One, if it failed, it would start the discussion more with everybody.
right, yes.
More information will go out. You have a second vote, and then we'll know for sure where we really stand. Yeah, almost like a test vote.
Right,
Yeah,
I would be in favor of that,
I'm in favor of it.
just because that gives you more of an opportunity, like you said, to test the waters, to say, look, this is what's happening, this is what we're trying to work for, this is how much it's going to cost you out of your monthly budget, this is how much it will give you back in 5 years, 10 years.
It'll give us a chance after the first vote to address the concerns that come up because of that vote.
Yeah, the only thing is, I do think we need to really push the information out there now as well, because it would be ideal to have a positive vote.
Yep.
The first time.
So they know what's going on.
Right,
It always happens.
right, yeah, and some people just don't want to look at it in a long term, because it's hard when you're living paycheck to paycheck to understand that this will eventually save you money and will eventually pay itself back, but that although it's poor timing in the economy, this is just the way, it's a way to make, like you said before, the future better. It's just long-term,
Not
that's
gonna
all.
grow if you don't do these things.
Yeah.
Like you said. Or make it better, it doesn't have to be growing, it just
Right.
has to be a plan.
But,
Everybody has a plan for something.
It's a possible payoff, but it's time.
So when would you look at the 2 votes?
First vote, like she said, first week or whatever, August, and
Okay,
then
then,
the first week of September.
okay, maybe 30 days, okay.
Wendy, how's that work for you?
I will sit at the polls whenever you tell me to be there. Not a problem.
Okay, so the first week in August would be
We're
acceptable.
if we're sticking with a traditional Tuesday, you'd be looking at the 3rd of August.
That okay with everybody?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, let's make it official. Motion.
I'll make a motion that we have the first vote August 3rd, 2021. And if it doesn't pass, we'll have the second one September, this is the first week in September, 2021.
Is that?
That second one need to be noticed for another 30 days.
Yeah,
Might need to have it a little later than that.
okay, so the second week in August, or in September?
September.
Yeah, as long as that meets the criteria, that would be the 14th. If we're staying with a Tuesday, the second Tuesday would be the 14th of September. Or you could do the 21st or the 28th, whatever you're comfortable with.
14, 21, or 28?
Let's go with the 14. It's
Okay,
Right down to the wire.
yeah,
That'll be a nail biter.
all right, so you have a motion
Yep,
for the 3rd and the 14th.
yep.
And Bruce seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Uh,
Aye. And that is for the airport infrastructure project.
What are you putting out ahead you talked about for information?
Sorry?
Are you putting
Are you talking
information
me?
out Before that?
Yes.
We're gonna have
you're gonna have
several information meetings, charts, graphs. I'd like to have some of the speakers come back, like Tim Smith and, Jeffrey Carr would be nice.
Yep.
If you could,
I'm connecting with them tomorrow to try and see if we can nail them down. And Northwest Access TV offered us a bunch of time on Richard Copperthwaite's show. So I'm gonna try to get, a group to do that.
Yep.
And the DRB, Planning Commission, and I think I might have asked in the town, in my report to you, about having them come back. So one of the times in June, maybe the second meeting in June, have them come back and do a presentation for you. You get the most visibility of any of the boards. But I think it's important to hit all the boards so that they have clear information to share.
Yep.
Okay, so one more thing that you can consider is the earmarks from our senators. And I left you a message today, I don't know. So we have an opportunity for Senator Leahy, US Senator Leahy, to consider a project for an appropriation funding. So I went through his criteria, which was very vague. I think they're open to anything, but they wanted it to be something that would change your community, change your region. So it sounded like a shoe-in for the airport. So it's a $1 million request for that project. And it's due tomorrow. So if you approve of that application, I would ask you to sign the letter, which is a certification that we are not a for-profit business and that no one here is benefiting personally from the project. Neither is Senator Leahy.
Was $1 million the limit?
There was no limit.
Okay.
I could ask for more.
Always
I
ask for
mean-
more, sell for less.
Okay,
There you go.
I can ask
Well-
for 2 million. I mean, we have 500,000 from Northern Borders. And we should know tomorrow what the legislature did with the transportation allocation, because I think they adjourn by Saturday. So Corey Parent will be on the call and he should be able to tell us that. And so
Have we had any updates from regional planning about any of the appropriation money that was gonna come to each of the towns and the county?
a little bit, and I sat in on a webinar on the topic. And basically, they should have the funding in the state's account this month. And it should be dispersed to towns by next month. And there is an original allocation of, I think, 360,000 for the town of Highgate. And then there is also money that will come to the county that will then be distributed out to the town. And it's based on population and not to exceed 75% of your total budget, annual budget. So
Does that include the highway budget?
I think so. But I don't know exactly what amount will come.
Right.
VLCT is currently hiring someone to work with towns. And they may be prioritizing towns that don't already have projects in the queue so that they can jump on it. So I'm not sure when we will get assistance on that. But they said, don't panic. You have time. You have 3 years to spend it. So, but I did want to ask tonight, just as an update, if that is the intention of the board to allocate that money to the airport project, with whatever exclusion you have for the arena. So I don't know if you're prepared to talk about that. I did give you a updated grant spreadsheet, so you could look at your projects.
All right, what would we have to request to basically get the project fully funded?
Well, all that I know that we have so far is 507,107. And if the allocation went through the transportation committee successfully, 750,000 of that will come for our project, and I believe 250,000 will go to the state's project. So that's 1, 3, somewhere along those lines. So we need a total of 3.4 million. So we would need another 1.5. But
Because
But upon a
we,
positive vote, we can apply for further funding.
correct.
I know from past experience that federal senatorial earmarks are how a lot of things got done without much, if any, burden on local taxes. It's one of those things that we've already paid for it, so it's just reallocating the money down there in Washington. So I'd prefer to ask for more than $1 million.
I could ask for 2, and then we'd have our 3.4.
Kind of ask for more and
Well, if we need 2, let's ask for 3.
Okay, guys,
2.5?
well, we don't have, I mean, we legitimately, think if we'd had more time to prepare something, could have looked for monies for the Macy Road and for the transfer station. But these guys, it was just 10 days ago that this was authorized.
Mhm.
And here we are, we gotta have it
Yeah.
Now,
in tomorrow.
Mhm. And
That's cute.
it's, yeah,
So yeah, at least two. I got no problem with three.
How specific does the request have to be? Does it have to say, or looking for the airport, we're looking for Mason Road repairs, or we're just looking for 2 million for the town?
oh no, you have to submit your budget. And you can do more than one project, but you need to prioritize them. So I
Yeah.
could put in for the Macy Road too. I don't know if it's what they're looking for, but I can try to pull one together quickly tomorrow. I don't know if I would be able to have time, but you have to submit the project budget and exactly what you've already got for money.
how much of a problem would it be to just change it to 2 million?
No, it's no problem at all.
I'd say leave it, go for 2 million,
See what we get.
economic development, FEA,
Yeah, we're kind of carrying this ball for everybody else in the county.
Agreed.
try it.
And unfortunately, your printing ran off the page.
Oh, bummer.
So this, Sharon can sign this one, but it'd be better to print
Mhm.
a new one that didn't run off the page.
I think I can fix that when you guys go in executive.
So
So we are approving the letter signature with a $2 million request.
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 In the event we got that money, we wouldn't have to have a vote
Well, that's,
on August 3rd.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's true because you have ongoing maintenance.
Right.
well,
I mean, I could ask.
And as far as the allocation of money from the state, I think we could all agree that a portion of that money would certainly be given toward the airport project.
Yeah.
I don't know if all of it would be, but we'd certainly wanna make reparation to the rec department for the losses that they sustained, because they were our largest loser.
you're speaking of care funds, that's what they are, or?
For the funds, the 360,000 that is
Right, okay,
currently,
yeah.
They're calling them ARPA funds this time. American Recovery Protection Act, I think. Okay. So did you want to discuss that further about if the board is all in favor of dedicating it to that?
no, I guess I'd wanna have more,
We don't know what we're getting at.
Yeah.
right, and more discussion
Supposedly.
and, kind of a charting out of what we need where to keep us moving on all fronts here. Because if the FEMA grant comes through, we're on the hook for a large amount there. If the Macy Road comes through, we're on the hook for a lot there. So we have to spread out our funding a little so we can keep moving forward on all of it, so we can.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure you can use it on the Mesa Road. That's the only
Right,
thing
right.
they've excluded is transportation. I think because they're putting so much money into the transportation budget.
Yep.
So you'll have opportunity to apply for things. And because it's taking so long with right away, we might have opportunity to apply to that same funding source that we've got the first two amounts from in the next cycle.
Right.
But we shall see.
Yeah, just so we can have a very clear picture of our financial obligations before we overcommit ourselves and
Yeah.
get strung up by your gonads.
I think I have come to the end of my topics.
Okay, anything for select board?
Yep.
Yeah.
Butch asked me to ask the board if, Field Days approached him to see if they could use the grader on the track at the tractor poles.
So they always request that's used. Normally Butch goes and does it on his free time, basically. So I don't have any problem with it. Okay, let's have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Second,
all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, anything else for select board?
Yes.
Richard's on a roll.
Last night, Bruce, Butch, Rob Cattell, and myself met down on the Hemp Yard Road. And we looked at it. As we talked about it, we would like to, there's a pond there. And where the pond is, it's a class 4 road. It goes, and there's another culvert on the other side of the pond. That's where it stops as a class 4 road and goes into a trail. We looked at it, we talked. We would like to draw in some gravel and build that up. Clean that out. The beaver have been in there. So he could get back to his land that he owns there, and he goes hunting there and get.
How much gravel are we talking?
Oh, what did Butch say? He said,
Well, it actually probably be stone in the base, like 4 or 5 inch stone. And what did he say? 5 to 8 loads of material. But I think what's happened over time is that between the beavers and spring high water and stuff, it's eroded the roadbed. Trying to think, you're to the east of the culvert. Culvert's still over there, still intact, but the roadbed's gone. So,
Is the family of beavers need to go, or if we put the stone and stuff in, they could live a happy life?
time will tell.
Okay.
I think the stone Butch was talking about would actually is a good solution because it'll allow a lot of the water to run through. And then, Cattell's only want to get in there with a 4-wheel drive pickup truck. They're not looking for car access.
Butch thought it'd be worse if we talked about a culvert. He didn't think a culvert would be the right idea there.
But the beavers could like to, want to start damming up the culvert next.
Yeah.
So
They're sneaky.
probably we'll have to deal with them someday.
Okay.
The price of fur to go back up.
I wouldn't hold that thought too
I'll
long.
hold my breath.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. Cost
Is it
roughly?
all?
The cost would be the stone, we didn't want to bring it to, we didn't check out any prices, John to bring it to the board. We met last night and
Does Butch think he has enough money to do it?
he didn't, I'll go back and ask. You know, he thought that it was feasible, right, Bruce?
Yeah, well, and the lesser expensive fix,
Right.
rather than putting in another culvert.
Culvert, it cost us more to put in a culvert.
Is this what you're talking about here, Richard?
Yeah,
Right there where it flows out?
yeah, you can see it right there.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
but there's a culvert right here. Right after that hole. There's a culvert. Yep,
Okay.
you can see I can see a beautiful now.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah, culvert's right there.
Normal size dump truck, I can't remember how many yards, I just had my gravel down on my driveway, it's 360 a dump truck.
10 yards.
Yeah.
At least for the,
Depending
for
on
the
whose
tandems.
box, yeah. Okay.
But that's a good point, is figuring out where the money would come from.
So I guess, that fix may have to wait until July 1st when he gets his budget back. But if that's agreeable to him and he still has money in his budget to do the projects he was planning on doing, I'm fine with that.
So do we postpone the decision till,
I
July.
would, yeah, we can do that or get, his opinion first, just to make sure,
okay,
just so we don't cut him too short. Make him look like he's a bad guy, but running his budget up too high. Okay, anything else? Okay. All right. Wendy is the only person on with us, so I would entertain a motion to enter into executive session with Heidi Birch Valenta and Steve LaFar.
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.